Clark and Perry.
In the place.
Clark and Perry. Do what it takes. Clark and Perry invite you to stay.
And explore the artistry in everything, live, on location alongside the Windy City's finest. Produced with the support of TELUS Story Hive, available on YouTube and TELUS Optic TV on demand for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome everybody to the Windy City's finest. I'm Perry, he's Clark, and you are?
Achilles Friesen.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and
Yes.
agreeing to meet with us and inviting us into your home.
Thank you for coming.
Yes. And thank you to everybody tuning in, be it on the live stream or otherwise. Our first thing is just to get to know you a bit. So I
Yeah.
think, should we just dive into the first question?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Awesome. Our first question for you is, what's your love language?
My love language is gift giving, which
Okay.
you don't hear very often, because I think people are ashamed.
Oh, no.
I'm ashamed.
Oh, no.
I feel like it's the most expensive love language. I mean,
I
it's
see.
a lot less expensive to give someone a compliment than it is to like go out and get something. But I've been trying to like translate gift giving through like less expensive stuff, like cool rocks and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, I just like physical memorials of things, I think, the most.
Absolutely. Awesome. Great. Getting the thumbs up from Clark here. We were having some technical difficulties, but that's all good, right? So yeah, it sounds like physical objects are kind of your love language, and it sounds like you're kind of a tactile person.
Yes, I am. I love textures. Yeah, I just like collecting stuff. I play a lot of D&D,
Okay.
and I get more dice than like sessions that I play because I'm like, oh yes, I love how they feel. So yeah, I got lots of fidget toys. Maybe I don't know what love language
Whatever
is.
this
Just
is.
touching around. Yeah.
I love it. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Another word I've heard for that is like touchstones, like
Yes.
having something that brings you back to like a time or place or even like a feeling or something. So I don't know if that you feel like that applies at all. But
I think so. I think I don't think I've ever thrown out a birthday card. Like I have
Oh,
like the
nice.
stacks and stacks of like every little like signed whatever. So I think it's even more important to me when like you know that they thought about you and stuff like that. Yeah, I just like stuff. I like being able to like look at it and be like, this is when this happened and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. There was something you said about having something and knowing that people took the time to like write that or sign
Yes.
that, and yeah, I think that's really sweet. I don't know why that stood out to me,
Yeah.
but it did.
It feels like I don't know, it feels like I think the least obligatory, I think, to me. I feel like because words, I'm always like, okay, thank you, but that could have been anything.
Yeah.
But when someone like goes out of their way to bring me something, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it must have been special if you like brought it on your journey and stuff like that. So yeah, talisman, I guess.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are there any other love languages that you have?
Ooh, I think quality time is my second one. I haven't taken it in a second, so I
Okay.
could just be lying. But yeah, I like hanging out. I'm a big like FaceTime someone just to like not talk for 3 hours and
right
like
on.
do our own kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think quality time is my second, I think.
Second one.
Yeah.
So gift giving and quality time
Yes.
with people. Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Is there anything else you want to share about that? Shall we move on?
I don't think so. I don't.
Maybe we'll come
yeah,
back to it. But
I don't. I was gonna say how those two blend together, but they don't.
yeah.
Like a puzzle.
Yeah. If you were to spend time
Yeah,
on a
and
puzzle,
build
yeah.
the
Mhm.
So.
Fair enough. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think our next question for
Yeah.
you is who has been a significant influence or role model in your life?
Ooh. I've had a couple. I am pretty good at like clutching on to someone who like influences me for like years and then going on to someone else. And so I feel like I have like pretty distinct landmarks of role models like growing up. Kurt Vonnegut is like the biggest one to me. He's an author. He wrote Slaughterhouse-Five,
Okay.
which was when he was stuck inside like a meat processing facility when like they were getting bombed and stuff like that. And it's like this absurdist text kind of told through an unreliable narrator that like jumps through time and also just like doesn't make sense. And it's just like, it was the first time I read a book where like you weren't supposed to get it the first time you read it, and you were supposed to like have to go back and like write in it and understand that. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that like art could be that way, where you could like mess it up and like lie in your art, and people would like know about those lies and like still see it as art. So I think that was the first time I was like, oh, this is, I didn't know you could write like this. I didn't know this was a thing. I think that's kind of what got me into writing more like absurd, funky stuff, because I didn't realize it was kind of an art form until then.
Totally.
So Kurt Vonnegut was, a really big one. He's like a very brilliant author. So yeah.
Interesting. It sounds there's something in that for me. It's like I feel like it sounds like they maybe are writing in like Easter eggs almost.
Yeah, kind of.
And it's like things that you may not pick up on the first time.
Totally.
But like the more you read it or spend time with it,
Absolutely.
quality
with time,
the more you find those things.
flip the pages, physical
tactile.
touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he also like purposefully doesn't take himself seriously, which is really nice. Like his signature looks like an asterisk, and he always says it's just a butthole. And he's like, they don't let me put buttholes on my books, so I'll say my signature is a butthole so that they can't take it off and stuff like that.
When there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just cool to have someone like, he's not a writer, so it's interesting to have that kind of like mind going into it. Yeah.
Very interesting. Cool. Are there any other role models in your life? It sounds like you had, you would kind of, would you say fixate on one and then move on, or not quite? Yeah.
Yes, fixate most likely. Yeah. I like to say that they still like stay a bit with me, but I definitely like go through my waves of like, oh wow, this is the best person ever. I think Karen Hines was my first like playwright I got into. I discovered her work in like an English exam. Like it was one of her absurdist plays that we had to like analyze. And I remember reading it and being like, this is brilliant and should not be in like a diploma level test, because it's absurdist theater and it doesn't quite like make sense. But I think both Karen Hines and Kurt Vonnegut like were important moments in my life where I realized that you don't have to take yourself so seriously when it comes to like text and theater and stuff like that. And Karen Hines, who like wrote a couple scripts for like a bouffon clown, is really interesting, because you don't really see a lot of clown scripts. But it's like very smart and like makes fun of itself, and it's just it's really beautiful. So I think she was another big one for me, where I was like, oh, look at these guys doing weird stuff, and I can do weird stuff, and I don't have to write just like nonfiction narrative like one-line stuff. So she was my first like, when I was a kid I was like, I want to be a writer or I want to be an actor, and she was the first person that I was like, oh, I can do both of those in the same thing. Check that out. So
no, that's awesome. Cool. Very cool. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share about influences and role models?
I don't think so. I think those are the big ones. I think
those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how recent were those? So the one you said was like
Kurt Vonnegut, it was like the start of high school, I think.
Start of high school.
Yeah. And then I think Karen Hines was kind of when I started university. I don't know like if I have anyone I'm like following now. I would say like, this is probably cheesy, but a lot of my role models now are like the people I'm working with.
Oh, interesting.
Because like I'm almost out of school. I'm so close. I'm like a semester away. So I feel like I've seen like a lot of the people I work with like grow up in the years I've been through. So it's like my friend Ahona, she has so many like skills that I just am not naturally very good at. Like she's so much more TYA than I am. So like she's my role model in that sense, where I'm like, it comes so naturally to you that I want to take inspiration from that. So I think I've just been kind of trying to like sponge up everyone else's amazing qualities so then I can just spit them back out when I get out. So I think just the people around me, I guess.
Interesting. I think that's awesome. Like kind of having these role models that are people you are not going to meet in the immediate, future in like high school, it sounds like, but then getting to university and being able to see that in others that are right next to you, I think that's really special. Yeah. And like, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it has been very special.
Any other thoughts on that?
I don't think so.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We can move on to the next question. Our next question is, what is a defining memory that shaped who you are today?
Oh.
I know, this sounds like a big question. I feel like this would be easier if you had like a touchstone with you. Like
yes, if I was
like, this brings to mind this.
That's exactly what I should have. They have like those like picking stones. Have you seen those?
I have
They're like
not.
stones with like little holes in them, and you fill them with latex, and then you like take a little picky thing and you pick them out. It's supposed to stop you from like picking your nails, but it's a little picky. Anyways, that's not what the question was.
No, but I have seen like those stones where like you can like rub them, and
they're
and somehow they're made of
Mhm.
something where it does actually,
Mhm.
and it's not like a rock, but
Yeah.
it's like a stone.
Mhm.
That- you got
I don't know how
stone
much
face.
I love that one.
That's
I'm
fair.
not a wet textures person.
Are they
It
wet?
gives I don't know. They look
feel like
wet.
they're
I don't know. A moment that shaped my life.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess figuring out how much resiliency I had. I think I spent like the first half of my career like forcing myself to do a lot of theater and always like pushing myself into it. And it was like a part of me I kind of like resented for a bit because I was like, oh, I wish just for once I wouldn't go on, or like I wish I would just like give up just this one time. But I think as I like got older, kind of figured my stuff out, I realized like that's what kind of keeps me going, is that resiliency. And I kind of hated it in the moment because I wanted to give up, but that aspect of me that like just can't give up kind of pushes me even when I want to give up, which is really nice. So I think if it weren't for that, I would definitely not have the career I have now. So I think just that kind of like the spirit in me that I got to like rediscover as like strong and like powerful was probably a defining moment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And I love this idea of resiliency that you speak to. And I don't know if there's a correlation here, but there's something about you seeing such like value and meaning in objects which just are, and they just exist and they don't quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just exist and they just keep going. And I don't know. It's a bit of a weird correlation, but I just think like I think it's interesting that you find value and meaning in that, and then you speak to this idea of resiliency.
Yeah.
You just can't quit, you know. And there's just something in you that just keeps going. You know?
Totally. Descartes also said that like one of the defining objects of a body is something that can't be taken up by something else, which I was always like,
whoa. Wait, can you say that one more time? And
like,
who said this?
Descartes, Rene Descartes.
Rene Descartes.
I think, therefore I am.
I think, therefore I am.
That's
okay,
like that guy.
Yeah.
He had a couple ones that I was like, I don't know, Rene. But one of his big ones was like, the definition of a body is something that can't be taken up by another object, or like a space that can't be taken up by something else.
Right.
And I know that's not like super connected, but it makes me think of like, even if you are done or like want to give up, nothing can occupy the space that you're in, you know? And it kind of like, I feel like when I was in that philosophy class, everyone was like, body can't take up space. And I was sitting there like, whoa, I'm gonna write something about that. Absolutely. So I think about that a lot. I think that works well with like the objects, and like anything can be considered a body as long as it like occupies its own space, which is pretty interesting. Yeah.
That's super interesting. Yeah. Oh, awesome. I love that. And you're into like philosophers.
Yes, I'm a big philosophy guy. I'm getting a minor in philosophy, hopefully. But yeah, it's just one of those things that like where I was a kid, I was like, oh, I wish I could go to class to like think about stuff. And then I came to university and I was like, you could take classes to think about stuff. So it's been a weird like kind of like branch of art I've taken, but it's been super interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Maybe we'll come back to that at some point.
Yeah.
But...
I'll bring it up again.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Cool. Great. Unless you have anything else to say about defining moments, we can move on.
Yeah.
Our next question for you is, what do people learn about you with time? Like, do you have any special skills or talents?
I can make a really good clown honking nose.
Clown honking nose.
Like when you honk a clown nose?
Yeah.
You ready?
Sure, let's hear it.
Oh, I guess, would you like if I did it?
I would love to, yeah, if you're open to sharing that, yeah. What?
Oh, that one's not as good. That was a little flat.
Okay, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Whoa.
pretty cool, right? Hopefully that audio kept in there. Yeah, so I learned how to do that for summer. Now I do to kids. I'll be like, did you know it did that? To like their nose.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so I can play half of Silent Night on the harmonica, and I can play Jolene on the piano.
Okay,
so
awesome.
I got many skills.
Just a variety of
Yeah,
skills.
I'm very big on like picking up stuff
Just picking
and
up
like
stuff.
touching. I guess I'm a big big fingers guy. Like,
Fingers guy.
yeah, pick up the guitar, pick up piano, just kind of like
Just
plunk
learn to
away
do
at stuff
something.
until I'm like, okay, I'm done, and work on the next
Mhm.
stuff. So yeah, just like weird skills, I guess. I also like make stuff into games all the time. Like I
Yeah.
love to be like, let's make a game. Like I used to work at Tim's, and we would try and throw bags of coffee beans to get the window to automatically open, and you get like points based on how long the window stayed open.
Amazing.
So I just like to occupy myself with like dumb games, stuff like that. So
Right on.
I guess that's something you can expect from me.
Nice. Yeah, making things into games. And also
Yeah.
there was something you said about again, I'm just kind of like seeing parallels here
Yes.
for you of just like it sounds like you love getting objects from
Mhm.
wherever.
Yeah.
It's like this aesthetic, and then like I think there's something about that of like pulling from many different places and people, and then
Totally.
just in your everyday life pulling from various skills and
Yes.
just trying things. And
Yeah, it was something I thought about a lot because I was like, I don't think I'm like good at one thing, but I think I'm like okay at like a million things.
Right.
And I think it's like I used to not really like that about myself, but I kind of am like growing to really like being a smorgasbord of kind of what I
Mm.
find, because I think it, even if I can't do a lot of it, usually you only need a little bit anyways.
Yeah.
You only need that one clown honk to really work to sell
Yeah,
people. So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
I've just kind of liked sticking to whatever I can, kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And like, I think like, because you're an actor also.
I am,
Like, I'm an
yes.
actor too, and I think there's definitely something to be said about just getting life experience and just
Totally.
trying things. You know, like I feel like at some point, that one time you play piano or pick up a guitar or
Mhm.
will come in handy at some point
Totally.
for some reason. you
Yeah,
know, like-
I'm always big with like also like throwing myself into stuff, even if I'm not like entirely 100% sure how to
Yeah.
do it. Like I just finished a project where I was like, yeah, I'll conduct this like 2-part harmony. I could do that. And then I was like at home and I was like, oh no, okay, we're gonna have to figure that one out. So I
Yeah.
think I like, maybe that's my resiliency again. I just like
Mm.
push myself into different talents. I think I just like trust that I'll be able to pick up a basic level to kind of figure
Mhm.
it out. So
Oh.
yeah.
Interesting. Cool. I think that really speaks to your personality. I think so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Next question. Work
Yes,
for you?
please.
Awesome. Our next question is, what's a unique experience and/or adventure you've been a part of?
Oh, I did Hoot Nanny this summer,
Okay.
which is an outdoor TYA project,
Mhm.
theater for young audiences.
Mhm.
It's like this has a big wagon. We did a performance on like anxiety in children, which was really
Mm.
fun. So for like all of July, I believe we would go out there every morning and like perform for kids to kind of show up, and that was like, it really like I hadn't worked with kids for very much, and I was always kind of like, oh yeah, like I at my like job I work with kids, and I feel like dealing with kids like when they have a headset on is a lot easier because you can just kind of point and tell them where to click. But hearing like kids' opinions on like the theater and like what they have to say, like really kind of made me be like, oh wow, like I didn't look at it that way. And I feel like now that I kind of have that perspective, I'm able to like channel that perspective looking at other pieces of theater and be like, how would this person see it and stuff like that. So I think like connecting with children like that and seeing like, especially ones that were like really passionate for theater and watching the theater we put on and hearing their feedback on it was really interesting.
Mhm.
Even if it was like, I had one kid come up and be like, I like last year's Hoot Nanny better.
Kids
And I
are-
was like, I wasn't in last year's Hoot Nanny. But even that, I was like, that's like, I want to know why you thought that, and stuff like that. And I think like in the same boat, but also in the completely opposite boat. In high school, I worked with people with dementia.
Okay.
We did improv with them. It was called Imagination Alive, and we would
Okay.
help them improv create stories so that they didn't have to like, so they could focus their energy on creating new stories instead of trying to recall old stories that they couldn't.
Absolutely.
And so we actually like published a book with them where we helped them like create all their stories. And that was also a really interesting experience because it was like, just like hearing how people think and like hearing experiences from this person. I worked with a very lovely woman named Gail who hated theater students. So she hated theater students only, or she hated me only when she remembered that she hated theater students.
Right.
So there'd be some days where she'd be like, "Oh my God, like how are you?" And I'd be like, "I'm doing good." And then I'd come in the next day and she'd be like, "My husband was in Les Mis and it was 3 hours and I hated it." So
Oh my
yeah, I
God.
think getting those two like opposite perspectives, but like strangely similar kind of.
Yeah.
I just been the more I get to work with people I've never like met before, the more I'm like, oh, this was so like enriching for me as a storyteller. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing like, yeah, kind of. So it's that idea of like working with youth audiences and also working with older folks.
Yeah.
And like how they are very different, obviously.
Yeah.
But can be similar in some ways.
Totally.
I think like, yeah, kids are absolutely ruthless. Like,
They are.
they will
yeah.
tell you the truth.
Yes.
Their truth. They'll tell
Yeah,
you their
exactly.
truth. And that's awesome. And so will older folks, apparently.
Yeah, yes, they sure will.
Yeah. And like, and that's really great work, I think, with the working with people with dementia
Mhm.
and improv games. I've heard of a documentary. I think it was called Garden Shark was the name of it. And yeah, the idea was you sit down with people with dementia, and it's like I think it can be such an isolating illness.
Totally.
And so it's the idea of meeting them where they're at. So if they think
Exactly.
they want to tell a story and it's about a garden
Yeah.
and it's about a shark, and then it happens to be in a garden,
Mhm.
you're like, why not?
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
like the improv rule of yes and, you
Yeah.
know, and it's like, yeah, and where is it? It's in a garden. It's like, okay, awesome. And you just kind of run with them, right? Because
Totally.
so many times it's trying to like remind them maybe of
Mhm.
you know, reality, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what's the point of having imagination? If you can't use it,
Totally.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think kids are the exact same way.
Yeah.
What's the point of having imagination if you can't use it? And,
Exactly.
you know, run in a forest, but really you're just in your living room. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to like give them photos to kind of start the story from, like be like, who do you think is in this photo and stuff like that. And we had one person who like, he wasn't like much of a talker. And then the end of the year, we gave him like this photo of like a pine forest or something. And he started like going on and on about like how he like, that was what he painted for years. And like, he was like an artist that would like do like pine trees and stuff like that. And it was so interesting to like, just for like a day, like just talk with him just because of that one photo. It's like, if no one had showed him that photo, we wouldn't have gotten that chance. So yeah, it was really like fulfilling work, I think. Yeah.
Very interesting. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to share
I don't
about
think so.
adventures, experiences? No, that's totally cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot in there. So
Yeah.
that is fair. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Our next question for you is, let me just make sure I'm in the right spot here. How do you cope when the going gets tough?
When the going gets tough.
Those days.
Listeners.
Yes.
I think art is like a really big escape for me. I think it's a lot easier to come up with inspiration and like write when you're in a very like emotionally extreme place. I'm still trying to figure out how to get as much inspiration from like being sad as I do as like being neutral. But from where I am now, I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from the emotional states that I'm in. And then when I revisit those, like if it's like poetry or plays or whatever it is, I feel like it kind of was like my own kind of journal in a way. Because when I write stories, and stuff like that, I feel like I can reflect back on those emotions that I kind of like was feeling when I wrote it. And there's like that element of me that's preserved forever. Like I have a lot of my play ideas when I'm like upset about something or like in a weird emotional state, and like it's nice to be able to like preserve that feeling and expand on it later, and like spend a lot of my time writing trying to be like, what would I have said when I was in that state, and like what would I have thought, and like how can I translate that. And then I have like this like completed copy of like me like going through something or coping with something or not coping with something at all. So yeah, I think mostly writing. Oh my gosh.
Hey, CD. You don't usually
She
like
might
people?
hit you. She is not very nice.
That's okay. Sorry.
No,
We're
no.
sharing something super deep and personal. And the cat decided it was their moment.
That,
But,
yep, that's
sounds about
Carly.
right. But yeah, no, so
Yeah.
it sounds like I was hearing a parallel there again
Yes.
of this idea of like kind of creating, I don't know, like you see value in objects, but it seems like you're able to feel these things
Mm-hmm.
that for you are very what's the word you used? Was it extreme or
Yeah, like emotional.
emotional extremes, and you're kind of able to like put those into like a time and place maybe, or just a state, and you're able to like kind of revisit them, and it sounds like something you're working on. And just how to get the most out of, like, it sounds like you like to sit and think about things.
I do.
And
I
so
do like to
can
sit and think about things.
a kind of how you would maybe be drawn to like reflecting on those things.
Totally. Yeah. I think I always try and like write things that aren't like, this is what I'm upset about, but like I like to, for like lack of a better word, I guess, like think pieces. Of like situations that kind of spark the same emotions. Like when I was kind of discovering who I was as genderqueer and like coming out with my pronouns and stuff like that, I wrote a play called Pregnant Man. And it was about a man and a woman locked in a bunker by God who had to like procreate to continue the human race. It was kind of like a nuclear Noah's Ark. But the woman found out that they were trans and they didn't want to give birth to children. And it was like kind of this play where you can read one aspect of it and be like, oh, this is like kind of transphobic, the way they're talking about like wanting to but not wanting to and all this stuff. But there's another layer that's like, who am I to say it's transphobic if it's their decision? And then there's another layer that's like, how would I cope with that? Like if you're locked to repopulate, but you never know if you're going to get out to begin with, is it worth like living who you're not going to be in the end? So it's kind of like, I try and create theater that like gives you the same emotions I was feeling. And so even though I wasn't like at any point in my life locked in a bunker, I wanted to try and like encapsulate what it felt like to either be like, is my biological importance more than my happiness, and kind of stuff like that. So I forget what the question was, but that.
No, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, first of all. And there's something in there of like, you try and create these plays that I think what it was for me was I just was thinking of like Descartes, yes. Descartes, and whenever I think of philosophers like that, I always think of like there's usually just like quotes and stuff of them is what's pulled. I know there's probably a larger context of their writing and stuff, but it's just like they just say the thing that needs to be said.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're kind of doing that, but then in a storytelling way, you're also trying to, create you're creating a world, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
That people can maybe see themselves in and or just experience, and it will have an effect on them in some way, shape, or form. And, I don't know. Right on. Cool. I feel like there's more to talk about there, but I think maybe if we come back to it.
Yeah, I mean,
unless you have,
I know that like a lot of times, like especially with the classic philosophers, I took 17th century philosophy this semester.
Okay.
So I have a lot worse things to say about philosophers than I normally do. Because normally when you read more modern ones, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But when you read stuff like before they figured out like physics, you kind of have to like give them a lot more leeway than you normally would.
But give them a bit more grace.
Yeah. But a lot of philosophers like will not shut up. Like they write. And like when you're writing something like that, you kind of have to like be defending every word that you say and like going back and backtracking and stuff like that. And so a lot of times like philosophical texts are super unapproachable because of that. Like I Think Therefore I Am came from like a 200-page meditation. And I still haven't gotten to the part where he actually says, I think therefore I am. Like I don't even know if he says it in that book, but like I feel like it's really off-putting to a lot of people because it's not an accessible art form. And so that's something I kind of try and do with my art as well, is kind of take the story, because they do kind of lead you through a story, like especially people like Descartes. When you don't have a lot of the truths of the world, you have to make a lot of through lines that you wouldn't normally, like I'm pretty sure like I think it was Aristotle said that the reason rocks or heavy rocks fell to the ground was because the minerals wanted to be closer to the earth where they came from. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you don't know what gravity is, that makes sense. And so I think a lot of philosophy is like giving them that doubt and giving them that belief. And that's a lot of what storytelling is too, is being like, just trust me on this. So I think there's a lot of similarities there that I get a lot of inspiration from to try and like, first just make philosophy more accessible, but also like take the stories that they're implying and put them in like an actual storytelling setting.
Totally.
Yeah.
There's like two things in there that really stood out to me. I will try and remember them as I talk through them here. But
Yeah.
I think the one was, this idea of storytelling and creating your own through lines. I think that's something people do every day,
Yeah.
whether you agree with that or not. I think everybody every day you decide on certain things and you have a reason for doing those things.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's really interesting. And yeah, it makes sense they would have been doing that as well. And,
Totally.
and then the other thing was this idea of quantity.
Yes.
And just the idea of, I think about this a lot in art, and I think it's really interesting. So knowing that the I think, therefore I am comes from like this larger context.
It really does.
But like that's what is known.
Yeah.
It's that idea of creating in theater, I've heard it called like coming up with nuggets, ideas, basically. So you come up with nuggets, but then you come up with so many that eventually you'll find a golden nugget.
Totally.
And that's the idea that just kind of stands out. That is the I think, therefore I am.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you run with that, And
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think philosophy is like the hardest to be simple about because like you can always talk so much. I'm talking so much about school because I just finished my finals yesterday. But thank you so much. I did not think I was gonna get through that round. I just finished a philosophy test that I was complaining to my roommate about. And she was like, well, what is it? And I was like, it's 5 to 6 questions, like 2 sentences each. And she was like, oh, that's easy. And I was like, not for philosophy. For philosophy, like it's easier to write 2 pages than it is to like sum up what this person is saying so like concretely and like confidently as well. Because even like we read these assignments for class where like we read through their essays and I'll read the whole thing and be like, this is what they were saying, and then I'll get into class and it's not what the professor says they're saying at all. So it's so subjective. Like they try so hard to define everything that they can, but even then there's like still so much room for speculation, and like essays from philosophers are usually responses to previous essays, so it's like you're always trying to catch up and stuff too. So a lot of words.
Very interesting. And I'm getting that sense of what you're talking about like accessibility.
Yes.
Like it does sound like quite a lot of hurdles to get over.
Totally.
And, I think there's something interesting about that for sure. But very interesting. Should we move on to the next question?
Let's move on.
Next question is, how do you celebrate when life's running smoothly?
Ooh, I play a lot of D&D, which I mentioned a bit earlier. Love D&D. I love to write for D&D. I'm just like a big like writing in my spare time person. So doing D&D is fun, but doing D&D with people who have like a passion for storytelling is like a different layer of fun, because it's like these people are not only like committed to helping you tell the best story you can, but also committed to like going through the story as their characters and like all that kind of stuff. So I know like as soon as I have like a second, I have like one of the group chats, I'm like, we should do something, please. But I think I'm still trying to manage that balance of finding inspiration when things are going okay. But I think a lot of like when things go okay is when I'm writing and reflecting on stuff that I've done previously. A lot of reading. I just bought this book called like 100 Essays That'll Change Your Life.
Okay.
And it's all just like philosophies on like different aspects you can change. Like I read like a 3-page essay on why lowering our empathy is what leads to us like becoming less tolerant of people. And like the only reason that we are less tolerant of people is because we allow misinformation to lower our empathy. And when we lower our empathy, we don't care as much. And so it was just like this really interesting just kind of essay about like when you start, and like this sounds so like rudimentary, but like when you start putting yourself in other people's shoes, or when you start like genuinely being like, well, how does this make me feel? You raise that natural empathy that you have in you, and it makes you stop yourself earlier with intolerance and stuff like that. So I think, just always know when to pop up. Just stuff like that. Reading, writing, play a lot of Sims.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
classic.
Yeah. Nice. So D&D and storytelling, it sounds like, is what that is. You know, it's like storytelling and engaging with it, and And is there like an element of like escaping in that? Or
Oh, 100%.
like Sims?
Like
I think
1,000%.
that's like-
Oh,
that's a thing, right?
oh, I went on Netflix last night, and the very first category they recommended was escapist reality TV shows. And I was like, that's mortifying. Yes, I'm going to watch the first one.
Love that.
Escapism is, yeah, oh, it's delicious. I know it's probably not the best, but I feel like that's like part of being a writer is being able to kind of like pop yourself into that world. And so I love just like video games and stuff like that that really like pop me into that reality, and I don't have to worry about everything else. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. Our next question for you is what inspired you to pursue your current career? I don't know if the mics are picking it up.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. The cat is playing with a toy.
Yes. Which she never plays with.
Of course.
Sorry, can you ask me the question again?
Absolutely. What inspired you to pursue your current career or field of study?
Ooh. I'm not sure. I think I always kind of wanted to do theater as a kid. My mom was really nice and like kind of wherever we moved around Alberta a lot, and she always tried to find like cities that had like solid theater programs, which was like really nice of her because amidst everything else, she didn't have to be doing that. So I think like as I was growing up, I always kind of like I was just a very dramatic kid. My mom would take me to like church choirs. We weren't religious, but she would like take me to these churches so I could like sing and do all this stuff. But I think like coming here and like meeting people who are going to school as well for theater is like something that really inspired me to keep going, because it's, you know, like you do theater so much as a kid and like it's such a mix of like people who don't want to be there and people who are just like goofing off, and then you come somewhere where people are like studying theater and it's like so inspirational to be like, oh, like if you have that much confidence in yourself, then like how much confidence can I have and stuff like that. And I think just like excellent stories. Like I think what got me into being a writer for sure is just like buying as many plays as I could and reading and being like, oh, like I could put that up or I could write about that and stuff like that. So I think in a weird way, a lot of what keeps me going as a creator is like FOMO. Because like I'll read like good plays or I'll see good theater and I'm like, oh, I wanna be doing that. Let me get my fingers on there. So FOMO mostly, I guess.
No, yeah. Like there's a lot in there. I'm trying to summarize in my head. I think one thing that you mentioned was, you know, you say that you moved around a lot kind of growing up, and I think I don't know. The thing that comes to mind for me there is this idea of like touchstones for each of those places.
Yes.
And memories for those places.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And is that part of why you kind of
maybe
are drawn towards, you know, acquiring these things?
Ooh.
I don't know.
You could be my therapist. This is so fun. I'm just going to tell you all my secrets and you can make my little through line.
But yeah, no. So
yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. And then,
totally.
Yeah, and then like getting all of the plays and stuff. And then another thing I heard was like this idea of just surrounding yourself with kind of like-minded people.
Totally.
Or like direction-oriented
people.
Yeah. You know? And then just kind of drawing off their energy and passion and allowing, you know, being open to that, having empathy. Yeah. Being open to that and just see, I don't know, just any of that.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think helping other people in their careers is the best way to forward your own, because you learn so much just by like watching other people.
And how old is Kate?
This is Miss Carly. She's 13.
13.
I got her when I was, I think I got her when I was 11. Yeah. We've been best friends since, so I've had her my whole life, so she's allowed to push me around.
Yeah. Nice. If anybody can, our pets
exactly.
can.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
I guess she'll just sit there now.
Yeah, that's her spot. Right on. Cool. Did you have anything else to share about career and field and why you
think
went to?
so.
No? That's totally fair. If not,
no.
Cool. But yeah, that is all the time we have for this segment. So again, thank you so much for sharing.
Of course.
And thank you everybody for tuning in, be it on the live stream or otherwise. We're gonna hopefully get up to some more stuff here shortly. But yeah, I'm Perry. He's Clark. You are
Achilles. This is Lay Chef.
Le Chef, and this has been the Windy City's finest.
Clark and Perry,
in the place.
Clark and Perry, do what it takes. Clark and Perry, invite you to stay.
And explore the artistry in everything, live, on location alongside the Windy City's finest. Produced with the support of Telestory Hive, available on YouTube and Telesoptic TV on demand for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.